right away, what is going on here with this energy? I'm going to put a meme up, and it is precisely what I'm feeling. It's me and you together in this moment. Honestly, though, we can take roles reversing. Like I can be the one that's not doing well because I'm still sick. I still don't feel well. So there is a ton of emotion. That's everything with this reading, emotion. You are sorting through a lot of feelings at this time. You could also be repressing a lot of feelings and you could feel numb. So both ends are relevant here, but I'm seeing the same, which is a lot of emotions, feeling a lot of emotions. If you are feeling numb, that could be a sign to you right now that you are repressing a lot that wants to come out. Besides the extreme emotions here, it looks like today's message is really dense. Some of you love that. Some of you hate that. I'm going to do my best to simplify this all because it's one of those complicated things, I think. So just a little disclaimer, try to stick with today's reading. Even though it might be confusing and I'm working through it in real time with you. Okay, so I don't waste anyone's time. Man, this emotion is strong, guys. So I don't waste anyone's time. Let's talk about who this message is for and let us be very specific because we can be today since there's a lot in front of me. The emotions that I was explaining before, that's very important. If you are feeling numb, if you are feeling highly emotional, highly sensitive, but there's another aspect here. I see two very important threads. The first one is work, and this is tied with purpose, creation. It doesn't have to be generally work, just tied into something that you are creating, that you have purpose for. It's coming through in a connection with a past or a future person. The progression of your purpose or your career seems to be directly tied to a relationship. So there might be a message at this time for someone who is genuinely rethinking their purpose, their life path, their job, what they're creating. There's deep work there. There's deep work happening with wanting to change something. This change can also just show up as confusion. It's showing up that, you're more confused with your purpose, or it could show up with more clarity. It could show up in both of those aspects because it's showing me that the energy is shifting. The emotion seems irrelevant there. So in this relationship to this person who is connected to your purpose, to your life path, to your creation, there's something they feel as you are moving through this purpose, whether it be on the confusion end or whether it be on the clarity end, they are feeling something because energy is moving around and they're sort of tied to this with you. They're embedded in that aspect energetically. Gosh, I'm going to have to do a lot of explaining because this is already very confusing. So let me just say this so we don't waste any time. This message is going to explain the connection between this person and your purpose and why they're sort of intertwined and tangled. If there's not a person, which I see a few of you might not have, it's directly tied to an incoming connection. What you're doing, your purpose, your confusion, that career life path, this is tied to a connection, incoming or past. So it is very important you understand creation, work, career, or what you're doing in this way that is attached to your relationships or your connections. So to summarize, if this meme is you right now, welcome to your reading. Okay, so you stayed. What I see from you is very much a current focus on your career, on this creation energy. There's going to be two groups here. That focus is going to be both negative and positive, but like I said before, it is showing me the same thing, regardless of the emotion. It's showing that energy is moving around. So before I talk about this connection that is deeply intertangled, intertwined, deeply connected, we need to talk about you. We need to talk about what's happening with you. And you might not want to hear that. You might want to skip to this person, but don't do that, okay? It is foundational you understand this part of you before we can talk about what's going on with them as you continue to focus on this career thing, on this creation energy. And that's a connection, by the way, that is either old, existing, or that is new and upcoming. It could also be both. So you can't jump around. Just hear that. It's too complicated today. Stay with me, okay? So some of you feel more clear than ever. You have clarity with what you are doing, your purpose, your creation energy. And some of you are more confused than ever, but both are experiencing the same shift in energy, which is showing me something's moving. Even if it feels negative, even if it feels positive, the result is the same. The energy is in motion. So this movement with your career, your purpose, your creation, the reason it's happening is because you recently removed a distortion, some sort of distortion energy that was blocking movement. This could be in real life. This could look like eliminating a bad partner who was blocking you, eliminating a bad job that was blocking you, bad connections. There was something here like really fundamentally blocking you. And you will know what that is, right? When I say that, you will know what you removed or what removed you. Something was removed. But what's important is since this distortion energy was removed from your field is like your signal, your energy is now able to move in a more profound way. Something about whatever this distortion was, something about whatever this influence was, like an old job, a person, it really hindered the growth of your signal, the strength of your signal. And so it's coming through to me as being able to strengthen now in a way that it has never been able to. And it doesn't have to be that it was just this one distortion. You could have been having multiple distortions throughout your life, just moving from one to the next, but it looks like you've removed and now you're staying without them. So you're able to strengthen signal, which is really profound. It's really powerful also, is from what I'm feeling. This strength is showing me what I mentioned was either an increase in clarity or an increase in confusion, but they're both tied to your purpose, your path, your direction. The emotion itself, again, is not important. So I hope we don't get too caught up on that emotion. It's the increase here that matters. That's showing the movement of energy. So let me say this again so we stay on the same page, because again, this is a very confusing message. You remove something or something was forcibly removed from you, and that removal has created a signal that is being strengthened in your field, your essence, your energy. And so this is leading to extreme emotions as a result, because strengthening signal, something increasing, is going to lead to something else increasing as a result. And whether that's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. I hate to say that as an energy reader. I sound so, I don't know, lacking empathy, but it doesn't really matter, okay? It's just showing movement. It's just showing the signal is shifting because something was removed in your field. So in regards to what was happening before that you need to understand is like there was a lot of disorganized energy that was distorting your field. It was really hindering a lot of things from what I can see here. It looks like, fragmented people that maybe you'd go back to. It looks like old coworkers you gave too much to. It could look like a lot of things, a lot of mixed things coming through. But this did something really important. This is affecting a connection, a thread, a tie to either the past or the future. But it did something really important. It is affecting this connection, whatever it is for you, however it shows up for you. A hermetic principle came through. I'll leave the details in the description if you're not familiar with that. Gosh, I'm already confused, guys. Seriously, I'm sitting here like, what do you want me to say? Let me pause because I'm sorry. Okay, so this principle, this energy that came through, it's showing me what these distorted or fragmented energy types did to you in your field in a way, and I'm saying this delicately, it sort of lowered frequency for you, but not because it was like it could do that. It was more so inhibiting your stabilization so you could strengthen your signal. So when we talk about lowering frequency, we're not really talking about dulling you. We're just talking about stopping movement. And that's what was happening here. So if you can think of a person, to give you an example, with a lot of varying energy types bouncing around them, it's not that you took on that energy. It's not that it did anything to you. It's that it existed around you and prevented a sort of stabilization. And the stabilization is important here because it's talking about coherence in this message. So what I'm being shown here, very kind of intense message, is your guides are showing me the removal of these sort of influences have now what looks like allowed you to stabilize and then continue to strengthen as a result of your stabilization. So it's causing an increase of emotions, both good and bad. It could be clarity, it could be confusion. Something is increasing. As a result of this stabilization and strengthen, you're going to feel something increase, and that's good. Two emotions, again, confusion and clarity. It's showing me that axis, that polarity. So anything in between could also exist. Anything else could exist, but that increase is what's the important part because it's showing you something is stabilizing. So why is this important? Why am I going on a tangent? I think what this is showing is the removal of this thing, whether you did it, whether it did it to you, it is stabilizing your field right now. And it is strengthening your signal as a result. And coherence in your field leading that comes from stabilization is directly tied to your professional development and this connection. There's two parts that are making this reading super confusing. It's showing me professional and it's showing me relationship that are tied to stabilization or signal increase. So I think what this first part is saying is a lot of mixed signals existed in your field. You didn't take on that energy. It didn't do anything bad. It just inhibited your ability to stabilize and strengthen your signal. Think of these distorted energies as false realities. You're not being spread into that signal anymore. You are strengthening your own. And your truest signal, your truth, is not being spread around like it was. It's not being inhibited. And this is what we call in the energy world as coherence. And coherence is very important. I have an entire disruptive reading. You know what? I'm going to leave it on the screen. I think it's important. The reading on the screen will talk about coherence more than this reading will. But in this instance, you are dropping distortion. You are dropping things that are not your truth. You let go of signals that are not your own, and you are strengthening. And that is what is so strong in today's reading. That is where you've been and where you are now. And it's calling forth what looks like truth in your creation, your professional development, your life path, purpose, work, things like that. It's also tugging on those in the past and in the future in different ways. In the past, it might be that they're still attached to you. They feel the coherence. In the future, it's looking like soulmates who are looking for you can perhaps see your signal better now as you strengthen. I'll talk about that more in the next section, but this first part is just saying both of those energies feel your coherence because you are strengthening your signal. For the first time, it looks like this is what's different is like you haven't experienced this level of emotion because you haven't experienced a signal increase strengthening like this. And so just know, because these emotions you've never felt before, you might be inclined to feel that something's wrong because they're new. But that in itself is showing you how strong your signal is becoming. I could see that clearly. These emotions are not random. They are pointing at energy moving around them, not at the emotions themselves. The emotions are simply just a symptom of what's happening. So this first part is explaining to you that you moved from a disorganized or scattered signal into a coherent and strengthening one, which is big. This is a big deal. And what it's doing is it's pulling up emotions in response because things are shifting meaningfully. And it could be pulling up different types of emotions, like I mentioned, but the result is the same. So that's very important you understand that before we can talk about work or this person, past or present. There is a rather detailed little thing that came up that might be specific to some, but maybe not everybody. Some of you at this time are going through what looks like an extreme imbalance in the body specifically. We've been talking about emotional imbalances, right? Like being numb or being overly emotional. They're not physical in the body necessarily, but this one is pointing at your physical body. But what's coming through is electrolytes specifically. Very, very odd. Some of you might be needing more at this time, or you might be literally paying attention to them or conscious of them. It could very much be literal. But in a symbolic sense, what I see here is that there is a figurative rebalancing happening in all aspects, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Similar to the extreme emotional balance we're talking about, your body could be requiring more minerals, more supplementation at this time for balancing. So I'll write more about that in the description, but really it's just showing up in what looks like symptoms of tiredness that can't go away, that doesn't go away. So if that resonates, more notes in the description. Definitely. Always check out my novellas that I write for you. Okay, so a couple of different things as we jump into this. Like I mentioned, there are really strong threads connected to your coherence, your strengthening signal at this time. And they are very specific. They are creation related and they are relationship related. And it is very important I keep stressing that. Your signal is strengthening. You feel that. I feel that. It's real. That has a clear symptom that you can say, okay, yes, that I feel that resonates. But what you don't really feel is these other two things attached to this coherence. So I need to really fully explain them. The first thing that comes through again and again and again, this reading is so strong with work, Saturn energy, responsibilities. Your work is big. Your professional development is big right now. This is big. This could be many things. I see a literal job, a literal career, some sort of money situation. just a hobby. I also see things creation wise. There's no money involved. It's just what you want to create. Think of it as what I'm seeing as your main driver here. This is deeply connected and intertwined in everything we're talking about here. And I also see relationships, but relationships are tied to creation. It's almost like creation and coherence go hand in hand, and the relationship thread runs through that, if that makes sense. It looks like you're an all or nothing type. This is very much energy output type, meaning when you are in a relationship, you are not strengthening your career, your purpose, your creation. And you could maybe have seen that as a pattern exist throughout your life. Like when you are in a relationship, you are focused on that relationship. Once you leave the relationship, you are now focused on your purpose. You are driven to succeed professionally. Your career develops. Do you see what I'm saying? It's either one or the other is happening. And that's very purposeful. They are connected. Now, this doesn't have to be literal. You don't have to literally leave a relationship in order for your career to develop, but you are noticing what looks like a conscious pattern of you either focus on a partner or you disengage and focus on your career. It's very much all or nothing in that way. And this is being shown to me as a sort of rebalancing that you do. It is not random. It is not you working on yourself and healing and glowing up after things end. It's your energy building in your field from the connection. It very much looks like transmuter type of energy. The best way I could describe it is think of, I guess, a weapon, like slowly loading. Oh, I don't know why a weapon's coming through. I think that's really weird, but like slowly loading with ammunition. And once it leaves your field, once it removes itself, you're able to channel the weapon in a way. Transmuters are like ongoing weapons that are loading ammunition to be channeled. That's the best way to describe it, is like when transmuters find coherence like you're doing, they're unstoppable. They are an unstoppable force. They are loaded, locked and loaded. It's just a matter of aiming the ammunition, I think. So this heavy emotional thing you're experiencing, whether numbness, whether extreme clarity, whether extreme confusion, it's showing you how loaded your weapon is right now. It's showing you how much ammunition you have as a transmuter type. But it's also showing that energy is moving around you, even if it feels otherwise. So your message from a career standpoint is interesting. It is saying, trust that things are reordering, even if it feels emotionally volatile or imbalanced. As they reorder, as your signal strengthens, you'll find clarity. It looks like simplifying and not overcomplicating is big here, though. So the purpose, the career part of this message is saying you will not find clarity or purpose through gripping the wheel. It's almost like you have to let it assemble for you and trust that your ammunition will know where to aim when it's time. You'll sort of know it's the right thing when it feels easy, when it feels narrow and it's not scattered around. So the purpose or career part of this is really just saying you'll know what to focus in on, but you cannot overcomplicate it. If you feel intense overwhelm or you feel like you're pushing something and it's not just naturally happening and flowing, it's not aligned. Your coherent signal and the correct direction of aiming your ammunition will feel effortless. It will feel natural. It will not overwhelm you or require you moving a lot of things around. Transmuters aren't given paths that are like scattered. They are given very narrow paths to sort of aim their weapons in. It's a good way to understand this, because you have to understand if you are feeling overwhelmed, scattered, moving around, that is not for you. That is not your path. Your path is narrow. It is easy. It is effortless. You are locked and loaded. You are focused. Okay. That's your signal from a purpose or career standpoint. Now, where this romantic or connection thread comes into play here is, since it's not the primary, everything's driven by your coherence, right? It goes in order. Coherence strengthens creation. And then once coherence and creation are working in tandem together, there's a past person or a future person that feels that strengthening signal. So there is a person, past, present, future, that feels your coherence sort of strengthening. The more coherence you gain, the more order in your field, and the more you channel your sort of ammunition into something effortlessly, the stronger it is felt to them. And I'm going to explain why, because it's kind of interesting. In the past, they felt your field sort of disorganized, and they may have made assumptions about you as a person. This is specific to someone who already knows you, is as your signal strengthens, they are no longer able to fit you into the mold that they projected you to be. They have to see you for who you are. And for a future soulmate connection coming in, it's almost as if your signal was diluted or hard to find. And the more coherence and creation you channel into, the stronger it becomes for them to locate you or to be pulled or magnetized by you. And this could very much be both are happening at the same time, right? You could be magnetizing a future soulmate that is tied to you, and you could also be strengthening your coherence so much that a past person feels they can no longer project their understanding and they have to sort of face who you actually are, what your signal actually is. And so your guides, the reason you got this message in the first place, I think, is they are pointing at focusing on a career, on creation heavily for you. This is where you need to aim your ammunition at this time. And you might already be feeling that. You might already be feeling pulled to oddly focus more on work, oddly focus on passion projects. You're stressing more about direction. That is not random. That is you, your higher self, knowing where to aim your ammunition. Really, what this is saying is your signal is strengthening and you are locked and loaded, and it wants to be poured and it wants to be aimed into something specific. Transmuters have the most energy to create. They are here to create. You could feel very pulled towards your professional career or creation, and that is for a reason. It's just you are learning channeling it. I see here. You are learning to not scatter it around into your field because there's so much there to be poured into something. The past person, if it's not future, they are what's looking like feeling a strong desire to also right a wrong here. And this could be because they no longer can project their version of you onto you. As you increase coherence, it sort of does a few things to them. It makes your energy felt like stronger, like it pulls on them. It is difficult to ignore your signal. It was easier to ignore it when it was weak, and now it's much harder. But it also is a stronger, more assertive energy. Like you are in your truth and they can feel that. They cannot distract from that. It shifts them around to react to you. It puts them in a passive role is the only way that I could really explain this. In the past, for example, you may have been porous, you may have been absorbable, and people could exist in your field without responding to you. They could just sort of exist there without needing to do anything. And this is sort of why a lot of varying energies sat in your field and inhibited it, is because it didn't demand anything from those energies. But what you're doing now, from an energy standpoint, is as you create coherence, as you stand in truth, your energy requires an answer. You don't have to verbally require an answer. It's just your energy does. It's no longer allowing passive energies to sit there. It asks for something now, but it's also pushing this person to write something, to do something, to move with something, because your energy is demanding that. They can't just sit there anymore. In the past, they could just sit there unstructured, but now you're sort of commanding the truth. So a very layered message today about how you're moving into coherence and strengthening your signal, and your purpose and career follow as a result of that strengthened signal. And by doing so, by doing both, focusing on creation and this strengthening signal, all relationship threads feel that. That is the strongest way that you're moving your energy. So it seems you need spaces. This is kind of a weird one. I guess your guides want to clarify this. I don't know why, but you need to understand also that you needed spaces to refill your ammunition. It's not a matter of never getting into a relationship again and never pausing creation. It's almost like you need this sort of switching between the two. You sort of fill up your ammunition, you pause, and then you channel into your purpose with that ammunition. So it's not that you're doomed to be in romantic situations that fill up your ammunition and then leave. They could very well circle back, or you could stay in them and learn to transmute. It's just you're sort of loading a weapon here and you're pouring that energy into your calling. And your guides want to clarify that, I think. So just know that, I guess, your main message today, after all of this is said, is this past person feels they want to right a wrong. Your signal is getting much stronger for a future connection. But the more important thing is as this energy is rebalancing, as it's moving and your emotions are increasing or decreasing, that is not a sign something is wrong. It is showing you coherence is happening. It is showing you your signal is strengthening. And at this time, focusing on creation is the best way to energetically balance what is happening here. Okay, I'm doing something brave. Guys, support me. To give context, a while back, I made a post about the woes of being a reader. I sort of just unloaded on you guys, I think, and I just was real about it. I think I was real about how I'm burning out and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of that is my fault. A lot of that is not having stronger boundaries and not having structure here. But you guys at the time gave me very good ideas after I confessed my woes to you and was honest. And they've been in the back of my mind. They haven't gone anywhere. I've really just been sitting with them. I take your guys' advice very seriously, just like I do all your comments and nudges. So I'm going to be experimenting here with some energy containers, and I'm going to be turning on memberships. I know. Before you cringe and leave and hate me, just hear me out, okay? I'm going to see, this is an experiment. I'm going to see if it makes any difference in channeling directions by creating these sort of containers. And the reason I'm even considering this is because if this works, if this creates an organization in some way, in the future, I can establish even more containers as a reader. For example, like a members only reading can have a lot more in-depth content, but it would be able to give me buckets, containers, so I would know where to channel my energy more specifically and less specifically. It's all very experimental, okay? I have no idea what the hell is going to happen here. I might turn it on and then hate it and turn it off. You know, I might never get to private membership readings, whatever that would look like. But I can't know until I try, guys, okay? And I'm just thinking the members only readings could have that depth, could have that allocated complexity. And then the general energy buckets could have less. And I'm just thinking, I guess, selfishly about myself, how to not burn out, how to make more for you guys. And so this is kind of like the idea that was given to me that I think does actually make sense. I am starting very basic. This is just a small baby membership. And then later, you know, if you guys respond well and I respond well, we can think about more in depth, maybe monthly, weekly reads. So this is like my way, I think, of offering something more private. If you all seem keen or interested, I will continue from there. If not, I will stop them. So let me know your thoughts. Some of this directly came from you guys. It's a very small amount and you get a cool little salt icon by your name and it develops with colors. And I think that that's precious. So anyway, I love you guys. Cheers, friends.